Oh, good morning. Yeah, midnight. Again, second day in a row. And once again, I wrote this blurb, not now, not even yesterday, but the morning before. I wrote two blurbs, one after the other. And this is the second one of the blurbs that I wrote that morning, a couple mornings ago. And the title is the question: will we ever have a positive world? As long as demonic beings and their human counterparts are able to maintain their fictional world, people will continue to be slaves of the lowest possible elements of creation. Most are still enamored with the idea of having more wealth and power than everyone else. And as long as that mindset is dominant, there will be injustice. Life will continue to be controlled by liars in high places. Now, I know some teach that this was all a plan, and some of that makes sense from a purely intellectual point of view. Nevertheless, this charade, as I see it, must end. People must be allowed to become truly free of the fictional con game we experience as life on Earth. I, for one, do not want to play in the fictional world anymore. I'm done with that bullshit. For me, I want either a positive world or an end to life itself. I've had enough living in a negative world. Now, some people have taken the idea that in some way I'm suicidal, and to argue with God is futile because I'm God. You know, somebody said that if you want to argue with God, look in the mirror. Yes, I'm part of God. So are you. So is all creation part of God. But God is he's not just part of creation. God is creation. God is all that is, and all and in all. That's the way that I learned it. That's the way I still believe it to be. God is all in all. And that leaves nothing out. Now, some people teach that humans were a very low species of creature. You know, ignorant, dumb, and we needed somebody to embed us with intelligence. When reading Anastasia, I don't buy that anymore. I don't buy that story. We were created perfect beings, and we degenerated because of the control of the demons, of the Luciferians, of whatever you want to call the negative influence that created a negative world, a world of slavery, where the slaves didn't even know they were slaves because they were paid for what they did. And therefore they didn't consider it slavery because they were getting something back in return instead of just laboring for nothing of value. And I've looked at things over and over again, and people want me to see their way of seeing it. I don't see it the way a lot of people see it, even in the New Thought community, spiritually speaking, neither in the Patriot community. But I do go back, and I have on the other screen here, I have the Bill of Rights. And Amendment 7 to the Bill of Rights is that in suits at common law. Now, they don't consider common law the way that I do. I consider common law as coming from the Bill of Rights and the Magna Carta before that granted us unalienable rights and recognized our status as living human beings. But anyway, back to the Amendment 7. In suits at common law where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of a trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Again, common law, not maritime law. Maritime law is fictional law to me. I don't care how it is to you or anybody else. That is the law of the sea, and just because I was in my mother's womb and it's water doesn't mean that I'm under the law of the sea. I'm born and I live on the land. I'm not a fish or a sea turtle or some other sea creature. I'm a land dwelling being. I live on the land, and even though I'm handicapped in the sense that I don't have feeling in, especially my right foot. I have my right foot is at least two or three or maybe four times more numb than my left foot. But both feet are numb. And I could not run because I'm not sure-footed enough especially with my right foot to be able to run. I still walk with a limp. That's my handicap. Do I have to live with that for the rest of my life? I don't know. It's doable. It's tolerable. I tolerate it. I still go to the gym. I still work out, but it is an impediment, and it makes things limited. I have to watch for my balance. It's easy for me to lose my balance because of the numbness in my right foot, and that has not gone away since all of the operations and stuff last year. And the onset of it was not when I had the stroke. It was when I went into the hospital at Shands and they put me in intensive care. That's where my feet swelled up, and that's where the problem of the numbness in my feet began. It wasn't there when I had my stroke, at the onset of all of the problems. Of course, the right side was where I had my stroke, but I was healed from that. And I didn't have numbness of feet at least not that I recall. That was something, again, that came later. But there's so many people that think they have it all figured out about me. Like Ron is suicidal. I'm not suicidal. I'm just tired of living in a world that's unjust, that doesn't even obey its own. I live in a country that claims to be under the Constitution, and it's run by criminals. It's an admiralty system. It's a system of the sea that has nothing to do with reality, not any reality that I want to live in. But it's a reality, unfortunately, that I have to deal with. And I've had to deal with it now 10.5 years. I've been going through this stuff of people trying to take my house because of a banker. And not all bankers are bad. But we've got a monetary system that distorts our perception of reality. It's not about money. It's not about money. But because we've been so brainwashed by a monetary system, we think we need money. Ultimately, we're going to discover when we wake up enough and when we let go of the bullshit that has been heaped on us by this cabal, by this demonic possessed leadership. When we finally let go of that, we're going to realize we don't need money. We can simply love one another and serve one another. When you love, you love to serve. When I'm in love with my children, I love to do things for my children to make them happy. When I'm in love with a woman, I love to treat her with kindness and respect and make her happy because that makes me happy. I don't want to take like the lawyers do and like the bankers do and like the politicians do. I don't want that kind of a world. I'm tired of that kind of a world. I have awakened enough to know that that's not the world that I want. And people want me to learn their particular way of looking at things. That's, with all the burden that's on me of having to fight for a roof over my head, I don't have time to do the research, and I'm not going to sit at the computer for, 15 to 20 hours a day like I used to do. I'm not going to ever go back to that. I try my best to limit the time on the computer so that I can get well, because I want a positive world. I want a world that works for all creation, for all humanity especially, because humans are the ones that screw everything up. We are the ones that have been manipulated and brainwashed, and we screw everything up. We need to get beyond our religion, beyond our politics, beyond the things that we've been taught about maritime law. It's not law. It's a fictional construct. Anyway, my time is up, and I really want you to pray that we will live in a positive world together. Thank you for listening.